You open the fridge and stare at it for a while, not really hungry, just looking. Cereal, bread, a block of cheese, a jar of something sweet you can't quite name the flavor of anymore. None of it existed for most of human history. Not the cereal, not the bread, not even the sweetness in that jar. So what did your ancestors actually eat for the hundreds of thousands of years before any of this was invented? The real answer is far stranger than Kale and Mammoth steaks. It's not one diet at all. It's dozens of them, changing by the season, by the coastline, by the forest, and it explains something uncomfortable about the food sitting in front of you right now. You've probably heard the story. Cavemen hunted big animals, ate meat around a fire, lived on protein and fat. It's a tidy picture. It's also mostly wrong, or at least badly incomplete. For most of human evolutionary history, meat was not guaranteed. A hunt could fail, often did. What almost never failed, day after day, was gathering roots, tubers, nuts, insects, shellfish along a shoreline, fruit when it was in season, and only when it was in season, because a wild fruit tree doesn't ripen year-round the way a supermarket aisle does. So who actually ate what? That depended entirely on where your ancestors happened to be standing. Anthropologist Alyssa Crittenden has spent years studying the Hadza, a foraging community in Tanzania whose diet still resembles, in broad strokes, something much closer to ancient human eating patterns than anything on a modern plate. Her research documents a diet built around wild tubers, honey, baobab fruit, and meat when a hunt succeeds, with the balance between these shifting dramatically by season. Some months lean heavily on plants. Other months, when honey is abundant, it can make up a startling share of daily calories. There is no single Hadza diet. There's a rotating one, dictated entirely by what the land offers that week. That seasonal rotation wasn't unique to one group. It was the rule everywhere humans lived, because the alternative, waiting for a specific food to always be available, simply wasn't an option before agriculture existed. Your ancestors in a coastal region ate very differently from your ancestors on a grassland, who ate very differently again from ancestors in dense forest. The through line wasn't a specific menu. It was flexibility itself. Here's where it gets genuinely strange. Much of what your ancestors ate wasn't just gathered. It was engineered, in a sense, by fire. Primatologist Richard Wrangham at Harvard proposed something called the cooking hypothesis, the idea that controlled use of fire to cook food was a turning point in human evolution, not just a convenience. Cooking breaks down tough plant fibers and proteins, making calories dramatically easier for your body to extract. Wrangham's argument is that this extra, easier energy is part of what allowed the human brain, an organ that burns an enormous share of your daily calories, to grow as large as it did. Put plainly, cooked food didn't just fill your ancestors' stomachs. It may have helped build the brain you're using to read this sentence right now. That reframes the picture entirely. It wasn't raw meat and raw roots powering human evolution. It was meat and roots transformed by fire into something your gut could process far more efficiently, freeing up energy for everything else your body needed to do. And what about all that fiber, the tough, unglamorous plant matter modern diets often strip away? Nutritional ecologist Catherine Milton studied how the digestive systems of humans and other primates evolved in relation to diet quality, and her work highlights just how much raw, fibrous plant material our ancestors likely processed daily, often far more than typical modern intake. Your gut, in other words, was shaped by a world thick with roughage, not one built around soft, refined food that dissolves before it reaches your stomach. Think about what that actually means for a moment. Every meal your distant ancestors ate came bundled with effort. Effort to dig up a root, effort to crack a nut, effort to chew through fiber that fought back the whole way down. There was no such thing as an easy calorie. Every bite cost something to obtain and something to break down. Now think about the food in front of you today. Soft, pre-chewed by processing, stripped of fiber, concentrated in sugar, ready to dissolve almost the moment it touches your tongue. Your body was never built for that. It was built for scarcity, for effort, for a world where a sweet, energy-dense food was rare enough that craving it intensely made evolutionary sense. That's the twist almost nobody expects. The instinct that makes you reach for the sweetest thing in the fridge isn't a modern flaw. It's an ancient survival strategy running exactly as designed in a world that no longer resembles the one it was built for. For your ancestors, a piece of ripe fruit meant a rare burst of easily digestible energy, worth craving intensely because it wouldn't be there for long. There was no danger in wanting it badly because it was never abundant enough to want too much of. The craving and the scarcity kept each other in check. That balance is gone now. The craving is exactly as strong as it always was. The scarcity, the thing that used to keep it honest, has completely disappeared. You are walking around with a hunger system tuned for a world of occasional ripe fruit, dropped into a world of infinite refined sugar, available at every corner, every hour, every day of the year. This is why that fridge moment feels so oddly compelling. You're not weak-willed for standing there staring. You're running very old software on very new hardware, hardware that never had to develop a stopping point, because nothing in the ancestral environment gave your ancestors the opportunity to overindulge the way you can now. It also explains something else, something quieter. Notice how much modern eating has been stripped of variety, how many meals repeat the same handful of ingredients week after week. Your ancestors' bodies and their gut bacteria were shaped by extraordinary dietary range, dozens of different plants, insects, and animals across a single season. Modern eating, for many people, has narrowed that range down to a small rotating set of processed staples. The body adapted for variety is now often fed sameness. None of this means you need to forage tubers or hunt your own dinner. That's not really the point. The point is what happens the next time you feel that pull towards something intensely sweet or intensely easy to eat. That pull isn't random. It's not a personal failing. It's a genuinely ancient signal, inherited from a world of scarcity, now firing inside a world of abundance it was never designed to navigate. You open the fridge and stare at it for a while, and somewhere underneath that quiet, ordinary moment, 100,000 years of scarcity is still quietly running the show.